TSP versus the 401k. Which one is actually better for building wealth and retiring early? Welcome back to the Art of Finance, where we help you achieve financial freedom through financial literacy. If you're a federal employee, military service member, or even working in the private sector, you've probably wondered, which retirement plan should I be investing in? I've broken down the numbers, analyzed the differences, and today, I'll show you exactly how these retirement accounts stack up, so you can decide what's best for your financial future. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I'm dropping weekly finance and investing tips that could help you retire years earlier. Before we dive into the specifics of fees, investment choices, and long-term growth potential, let's first get crystal clear on the basics. What exactly is a TSP? What exactly is a 401k? And why does it even matter? Who can use them? The Thrift Savings Plan, TSP, is exclusively available to federal employees and military service members. This includes civilian federal employees working for agencies like the Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, and even members of the military, whether you're active duty, reserves, or guard. A 401k, on the other hand, is designed specifically for private sector employees. If you work at companies like Google, Walmart, or your local hospital system, you're likely eligible for a 401k retirement plan through your employer. Both plans offer powerful advantages, but the key differences between them can greatly influence how fast your money grows and how soon you can retire. How do contributions work? Both TSP and 401k share the same basic concept when it comes to contributions: automatic payroll deductions. You designate a percentage of your paycheck to go directly into your retirement account. This makes saving easy, automatic, and disciplined. No temptation to spend it first. Employer matching. In both TSP and 401k plans, employers often match part of your contributions. For example, the government offers a match up to 5% in your TSP, essentially giving you an immediate 100% return on your investment up to that limit. Many private companies do something similar, matching 50% or even 100% of your contributions up to a certain amount. Tax advantages. Contributions can either be traditional, pre-tax, or Roth, after-tax, allowing your money to grow tax-free until retirement. With traditional contributions, you pay less in taxes now and pay them later. With Roth contributions, you pay taxes today, but your money grows and can be withdrawn completely tax-free later. But here's where things begin to differ substantially: investment options and flexibility. This is one of the biggest areas of difference. The TSP is known for simplicity. It offers only 5 main fund choices: G fund, government securities, usually ultra-safe; F fund, fixed income bonds; C fund, mirrors the S&P 500, mainly the large U.S. companies; S fund, small to mid-sized U.S. companies; and the I fund, which are international companies from developed economies. You also have life cycle or L funds, which automatically adjust your investments to become more conservative as you approach retirement. Because of this simplicity, the TSP is extremely easy to manage, great for people who prefer a hands-off approach. 401k plans, however, typically offer a much wider range of investment choices: mutual funds, hundreds of options, ETFs, exchange-traded funds, target date retirement funds, even some individual stocks and real estate investment trusts, depending on the plan. The trade-off is flexibility versus simplicity. For the TSP, it is simple, straightforward, lower risk of confusion. For the 401k, it has greater flexibility and more control over your investments. Costs and fees. Another massive difference, which we'll dive into deeply in the next section, is fees. TSP is incredibly inexpensive, one of the lowest cost retirement plans in existence. The average fee in TSP funds is around 0.06%, meaning for every $10,000 invested, you're only paying $6 annually in fees. 401k plans typically have higher fees, often ranging from 0.05% to 2% or more, depending on the employer's plan and investment options. That means with a $10,000 investment, you could easily be paying between $50 and $200 per year, or more. These fees may sound small, but they dramatically affect how quickly your money grows over time, potentially costing you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades. Access to your money and withdrawal rules. Both plans have similar rules around early withdrawal, but there are a few key differences worth noting.
With a TSP, federal employees can borrow against their account with relatively low interest rates, and repayment is through payroll deduction. With 401k plans, they also typically allow loans, but terms vary widely by employer. Both plans usually charge penalties for withdrawing money before age 59 and a half, unless certain conditions are met, like financial hardship or early retirement rules. Contribution limits. Contribution limits for both plans are set by the IRS and are similar. For 2025, you can contribute up to $23,500 per year in both TSP and 401k plans. If you're over 50, you can take advantage of catch-up contributions, allowing you to invest even more each year. Employer matching differences. Matching contributions differ significantly depending on your employer. The TSP offers a clear and uniform matching structure. 1% automatic contribution from the government. Dollar for dollar match for the first 3% you contribute. Additional 50% match for the next 2%, effectively matching up to 5%. Employer matches in the 401k plans vary widely. Some companies offer generous matches, up to 100% of your first 6% or even 8%, while others might offer less or no matching at all. Portability and rollovers. If you change jobs, TSP funds can stay in the plan indefinitely even after leaving federal employment, or you can roll them over into an IRA or a future employer's offered 401k. For the 401k plans, balances usually must be moved after leaving the job, either to your new employer's 401k or rolled into an IRA. In short, both the TSP and 401k plans offer huge benefits, but your specific situation will determine which makes more sense for you. Understanding these foundational differences sets the stage for making smarter wealth-building decisions. In the next section, we'll dive deeply into fees and investment options, because these details can mean the difference between retiring comfortably and retiring wealthy. Now let's dive into one of the most critical aspects of any retirement account: fees and investment choices. These two factors alone can determine whether you retire comfortably or truly wealthy. First, let's talk about fees. Fees might seem small at first glance, but they add up dramatically over the years. Here's how they stack up between TSP and a typical 401k. TSP fees. The thrift savings plan is famously known for having some of the lowest fees in the industry, typically averaging around 0.06% annually. To put that into perspective, if you have $100,000 invested, your total annual fee is roughly $60. That's extremely low. 401k. Fees. In comparison, most 401k plans charge between 0.5% and 2% per year, sometimes even higher depending on your investment choices and your company's plan structure. So with the same $100,000 invested, at 1% fees, you'd pay $1,000 per year. At 2% fees, you'd pay $2,000 per year. That means, in just 1 year, a typical 401k could cost you 20 to 30 times more than the TSP for the same amount of invested money. Why do these fees matter so much? Fees directly eat into your investment returns. Let's break down exactly what that means over the long term. Here's an example. Suppose you invest $500 a month, $6,000 a year for 30 years and achieve an average 7% annual return. With TSP, 0.06% fees. After 30 years, you'd have about $588,000. With a 401k, 1% fees. After the same 30 years, you'd have around $500,000. With a 401k, 2% fees. After 30 years, you'd only have around $425,000. That's a difference of $88,000 to $163,000 in your pocket, simply due to higher fees in the 401k. That's potentially years of extra retirement income lost. Why are TSP fees so low? The TSP is low cost because it's specifically designed as a benefit for federal employees and military members, not for profit. There are no sales charges, commissions, or high administrative costs passed on to you. 401ks, by contrast, are often provided by private companies who use investment firms that typically charge higher fees to cover their own profit margins and administrative costs. Now let's look at investment choices, flexibility versus simplicity. Here's where the 401ks offer an advantage in terms of options. TSP investment choices. The TSP has just 5 primary fund choices plus life cycle funds: G fund, low risk government securities; F fund, bond market index fund; C fund, S&P 500 index, large US companies; S fund, small to mid-sized US companies; I fund, international developed markets; life cycle funds. Automatically adjust risk as you approach retirement age. This simplicity is a strength for many. It's easy, straightforward, and perfect for investors who prefer a set and forget strategy. The 401k investment choices. Private sector plans offer much broader options, including actively managed mutual funds, target date funds, exchange traded funds, ETFs. Some even allow direct investments into individual stocks, bonds, or real estate investment trusts. Why does investment flexibility matter? If you're someone who wants more control over your investments, like picking specific stocks or investing in niche sectors, a 401k provides that freedom.
More choice means you can potentially achieve higher returns if you pick great investments. However, more choices can also mean higher fees, greater risk, and increased complexity, which might overwhelm some investors. Which is better for long-term wealth? Ultimately, this comes down to your investing personality and goals. Choose TSP if you prefer low-cost, simple investing. You're comfortable with index fund returns and less management hassle. You value long-term predictable growth with minimal fees. Choose a 401k if you desire broader investment options and customization. Your company offers a strong match that outweighs higher fees. You're comfortable taking a more hands-on investing approach. Quick recap on fees and investment options. TSP. Extremely low fees, fewer investment choices, simplicity. The 401k. Higher fees on average, but significantly more investment choices and flexibility. Understanding fees and investment choices is crucial because these two factors have massive impacts on your retirement nest egg. In the next section, I'll break down the Roth versus traditional options in both TSP and the 401k plans to help you maximize your tax benefits and growth potential. Now that we've covered fees and investment options, let's move on to one of the most important decisions you'll face, Roth versus traditional contributions, and how these apply to TSP and the 401k plans. Your choice here could mean saving tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. Traditional TSP and traditional 401k. How it works. With a traditional TSP or traditional 401k, your contributions are made before taxes are deducted from your paycheck. This means your taxable income is lower, reducing the amount of taxes you pay right now. Your money grows tax deferred, meaning you pay no taxes on dividends, interest, or capital gains until you retire and start making withdrawals. Key benefits. Lower your tax bill today, especially beneficial if you're currently in a higher tax bracket. Immediate tax savings can be reinvested elsewhere. Potential drawback. When you withdraw this money in retirement, you'll pay taxes on both contributions and earnings, potentially at a higher tax rate if your income is substantial at retirement age. Who should consider a traditional TSP or a traditional 401k? Anyone expecting their retirement income, and thus their tax bracket, to be lower than their current tax bracket. Federal employees or military members currently earning high incomes and seeking immediate tax savings. Roth TSP and Roth 401k. How it works with the Roth TSP or Roth 401k, your contributions are made after taxes, meaning you pay taxes upfront on your contributions. The big advantage? Your contributions and earnings grow completely tax-free, and when you retire, you won't pay any additional taxes when you withdraw your money. This can save you a significant amount of money in retirement, especially if you anticipate your retirement income or tax rates will be higher. Who should consider Roth TSP or 401k? Younger investors who anticipate significant income growth in the future. Those aiming for early retirement, especially if pursuing financial independence, retire early. Because tax-free withdrawals simplify your tax planning. Anyone concerned about future tax rate increases. Can you have both? One common question is, can I invest in both traditional and Roth accounts? Yes, both TSP and many 401k plans allow you to split your contributions between traditional and Roth accounts. For example, you could contribute half to traditional TSP and half to Roth TSP to diversify your tax strategy. This gives you flexibility to optimize your taxes both now and in retirement. How the Roth versus traditional decision impacts your wealth. Here's a real-life example. Suppose you invest $500 a month for 30 years, earning a 7% annual return. With traditional TSP or 401k, you'd get tax breaks now. But after 30 years, your balance, around $588,000, would be taxed upon withdrawal. With Roth, you'd pay taxes now, but after 30 years, you'd keep every cent of your $588,000 balance tax-free in retirement. If your income and taxes are higher at retirement than today, the Roth option typically wins. Important considerations: employer matching and tax efficiency. Employer match, regardless of your personal contributions, Roth or traditional. Employer matches always go into a traditional account and will be taxable at withdrawal. Keep that in mind as you plan your retirement income. Tax efficiency. Many federal employees and private sector workers diversify their tax exposure by contributing to both Roth and traditional accounts, providing tax planning flexibility. Roth TSP versus Roth 401k. Are they different?
Roth TSP has the same low fees, 0.06%, as traditional TSP, keeping more money in your pocket. Roth 401k. Fees depend heavily on your employer's plan and could be higher. Investment options are again more limited in the TSP, but generally simpler and cheaper, whereas a Roth 401k may offer broader choices at potentially higher fees. Bottom line, which should you choose? You may choose the traditional TSP or 401k if you need to lower your taxable income today, or you expect your retirement tax rate to be lower than your current tax rate. You may choose Roth if you expect your tax rates to increase over time. You plan for early retirement and want tax-free access to your investments. You prefer paying taxes now to have tax-free income later, or consider a blended approach for maximum flexibility. Next, we'll cover exactly how these differences impact your long-term wealth and help you decide which is better for hitting your retirement goals. Now that we've compared the fees, investment options, and Roth versus traditional accounts, let's get down to the question you're really wondering about. Which plan, the TSP or the 401k, will actually make me richer over the long run? To answer this, we need to dive deeper into two critical factors: tax benefits and long-term growth potential. Long-term growth, TSP versus 401k. To show you exactly how these two accounts stack up, let's look at a real-life example. Imagine investing $1,000 every month or $12,000 a year for 30 years, earning an average annual return of 7%. TSP, with fees of 0.06%, after 30 years, you would have around $1.18 million. 401k, with average fees of 1%, after the same 30 years, you'd have about $1.03 million. 401k, with fees of 2%, after 30 years, you'd have around $880,000. Notice how a relatively small difference in fees can lead to huge differences in wealth, up to $300,000 in lost growth. Lower fees clearly give TSP a substantial advantage in long-term wealth building. Impact of employer match. But fees alone don't tell the full story. Another important consideration is your employer's matching contributions. For the federal TSP, government matches up to 5% of your salary, essentially, free money immediately doubling part of your investment. For the 401k, it varies widely depending on your employer. Some private companies offer higher matches, even up to 8% or 10%, while others offer none at all. If your employer offers a very generous 401k match, higher than the TSP's 5%, it could significantly outweigh the higher fees, making your 401k potentially more profitable than the TSP. Tax benefits, how they impact your wealth. Taxes play a massive role in your wealth accumulation. Here's why. Traditional accounts save you money on taxes immediately, which you can reinvest to grow your wealth faster. However, withdrawals later in retirement will be taxed as ordinary income. The Roth accounts are taxed upfront, but allow your money to grow completely tax-free. Withdrawals in retirement won't incur additional taxes, making your retirement income predictable and possibly much greater if taxes rise. Let's look at an example. Traditional versus Roth over 30 years. Let's use the same $1,000 a month at 7% example again, comparing Roth versus traditional over 30 years. Traditional or tax deferred, you contribute pre-tax, saving you money up front. After 30 years, you might have $1.18 million, but you'll owe taxes when withdrawing. At a 22% tax rate, your real balance could be around $920,000. Roth, after tax. You pay taxes today, but after 30 years, your entire balance of $1.18 million would be completely tax-free. In this scenario, Roth wins, especially if your income or tax rates increase over the long term. Which plan has the better long-term wealth potential? Here's a clear breakdown. The TSP usually comes out ahead because of extremely low fees. Lower costs mean more growth and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars more in retirement. A 401k can outperform TSP only if your employer's match is very generous, significantly more than the government's 5%. The investment flexibility allows you to achieve significantly higher returns. This requires active management and carries greater risk. Final recommendation: if you value simplicity, low fees, and predictable, steady growth, the TSP usually wins. If your employer offers a significantly higher match, above 5%, or you're skilled enough to pick high-performing investments despite higher fees, a 401k could potentially win. The ideal strategy, if possible, use both plans to diversify your tax and investment strategies. Many federal employees also contribute to private retirement accounts through spouses or side jobs to maximize flexibility. In the next section, I'll cover which account is best,
if your goal is financial independence and early retirement, FIRE. Spoiler alert, your best choice might surprise you. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you're interested in FIRE, or at least retiring earlier than the standard retirement age. So, which retirement plan, the TSP or the 401k, is actually better if your goal is financial independence? Let's look at the 3 critical components that matter most for anyone pursuing FIRE, low fees, for maximum growth. When pursuing FIRE, every single dollar counts. Because you're aiming for financial independence in your 30s, 40s, or early 50s, reducing fees is absolutely crucial. Over decades, fees can dramatically slow your path to early retirement. TSP. With fees averaging just 0.06%, the TSP is incredibly FIRE-friendly, letting your money compound faster and keeping more dollars in your pocket. 401k. Typically higher fees of 1-2% can slow your growth and delay your FIRE goals significantly unless you're very strategic about fund selection. Clearly, the TSP is superior for anyone pursuing FIRE based on low fees alone. Tax-free withdrawals and flexibility or the Roth advantage. If you're planning to retire early, you'll need flexible, tax-efficient ways to access your retirement funds before age 59 and a half, the standard retirement age for penalty-free withdrawals. Roth TSP allows your contributions, not earnings, to be withdrawn at any time tax and penalty-free, offering immediate flexibility for early retirees. Once you hit retirement age, all your earnings become available completely tax-free. Traditional TSP withdrawals before 59 and a half typically incur penalties and taxes unless you use advanced strategies like Roth conversions or substantially equal periodic payments, SEPP. Roth 401k. Similar to Roth TSP, allows tax-free withdrawals of your contributions depending on your employer's specific rules. Traditional 401k. Generally harder to access before 59 and a half without penalties and taxes, but possible through complex strategies like Roth conversions or SEPP. Roth TSP or Roth 401k clearly wins here, offering much needed flexibility and tax-free income for early retirees. Investment flexibility, potentially higher returns. Investment flexibility is important if your FIRE strategy involves specialized investments like real estate, dividend stocks, or sector-specific ETFs. For the TSP, limited to 5 core funds and lifecycle options. Great simplicity, but limited if you want more aggressive or specialized investing options. For a 401k, often provides far greater flexibility with more specialized and aggressive investments like real estate funds, sector-specific ETFs, emerging markets, etc. Potentially offering higher returns if actively managed well. For those looking to customize their strategy aggressively, a 401k usually has the upper hand in terms of investment flexibility. So, which one is best for FIRE? Ultimately, your best retirement vehicle for achieving FIRE depends on your personal strategy. TSP, especially Roth TSP, is generally ideal if your main goal is low fees, simplicity, steady predictable growth, and tax-free withdrawals. It's perfect for most federal employees seeking straightforward paths to early retirement. A 401k might be better for those who value greater investment flexibility, have access to specialized high-performing funds, or receive very generous employer matching. The optimal FIRE strategy is using both. Many successful FIRE investors don't limit themselves to just one option. Max out your Roth TSP for low fees and predictable growth. Supplement with a Roth 401k, if available through a spouse's job or side employment, to diversify your investments and get additional matching dollars. Combining the low fee advantage of the TSP with the investment flexibility and additional matches from a 401k gives you the best of both worlds, accelerating your journey toward financial independence and early retirement. In the next and final section, I'll give you a clear call to action so you can start implementing your FIRE strategy today. Now that we've covered exactly how TSP and 401k accounts can impact your financial independence journey, here's your clear action step to start implementing your FIRE strategy today. Decide your contribution amounts. Commit to increasing your contributions by at least 1% this month. Choose between traditional and Roth, or consider a blend to optimize your taxes and growth. Evaluate your fees and investment options. Make sure you're investing in the lowest cost, highest performing options available to you. Drop a comment below. Which step will you take right now to accelerate your FIRE journey? Are you increasing contributions, switching to Roth, or reducing your fees? If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe, because next week I'm showing you exactly how to build the ultimate FIRE investment portfolio within your TSP and your 401k. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take action, keep building wealth, and let's retire early. Together. See you in the next video.